Thanks so much for joining me on the Slice of Healthcare podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. For the audience, I was just what's the phrase? Either fangirling or fanboying pretty hard over some of the stuff you were just telling me before we started recording. But I'm going to put that aside, and I'd love to get down to things. I'd love for you to tell us more about your background. We can go from there.
Background, I'm 52 years old. I was born and raised by two psychotherapists. I followed the path into psychotherapy, got bored or humbled by the whole path, went into some more medicine, and didn't want to do the prolonged 8-year MD PhD program, and then went and got my 2-year MBA from Babson. Spent a lot of time in the Boston area and Cambridge with a lot of venture capital and intellectual capital, and then got involved as a strategic management consulting firm with private equity, Wall Street banks, doing a lot of mergers and acquisitions. So in the last 20 years, I've had the luxury and opportunity to work across several industries: healthcare, dentistry, biotech, financial services, medical device, pharmaceutical. And then 11 and a half years ago, the inventor, the neuroscientist, quantum physicist, Dr. Blake Holloway, contacted our firm. And typically, we don't accept calls from inventors and small businesses. But he said something to me out loud I'd never heard before. And he said, "Jim, I invented a technology that quickly, safely, predictably relaxes the mind and body within minutes without drugs." I'd never heard that sentence said out loud. So that piqued my curiosity. We did about 10 weeks of diligence over the phone. Through the diligence, I understood even less because I'm not an applied neuropsychobiologist, and I really didn't understand the complexity of what he was educating me on. But again, piqued my curiosity. I finally said, okay, I got to try this because I don't understand anything you're saying. I flew down to Texas. I got in a doctor's chair. I NuCalm for about 35 minutes. I got up. I felt amazing. I'd been jet lagged. I'd come from international travel. I felt amazing. So I was like, okay, I have no idea what you just did to me, but I feel amazing. So the next day we sat in a boardroom and Dr. Holloway whiteboarded the logic path and the history and the science behind the invention. And I was like, okay, now I understand it. It makes perfect sense. And 2 weeks later, I accepted the position of chairman of the board, president and CEO of Solace Lifesciences, a neuroscience company, and began the quest of bringing NuCalm to the world. 11 years of commercialization, commensurate with COVID and some of the craziest peaks of anxiety, uncertainty, depression, fear. We're in a place today that couldn't be more poignant for a technology that's clinically proven, patented, and can lower your stress and improve your sleep without drugs, on demand, with no side effects. That's what we do. So we're here in this world of humility, of understanding, bringing very, very complex neuroscience to the world. But the beauty, Jared, is this: it's very easy to use. There's 3 simple components, and within minutes, your brainwave function is simply slowing down. Much like coffee increases or accelerates the frequency of your brain and allows you to think faster and be energized, we're simply taking you down into this healing zone. So NuCalm, we're here to change the world. I tell people that, and it sounds noble, it sounds grandiose. It's real. It's happening. We've been doing this for years, and it's simple addition by subtraction. If I can liberate you with this tech from your stress and sabotage and fear, anxiety, depression, worry, guess what? You become a better human being. And that cascades down to your family and your network and your friends. That's changing the world.
I love it. I love the name. Name's brilliant, by the way.
Thank you.
I love the branding, packaging. So for the audience too, I haven't had the opportunity yet to use the product, but you sent it over to me. I'm going to be making a video, so everyone will look out for that video where I kind of talk about my experience with it. But although I feel like I keep it together, I would classify myself as a very stressed person. I think that's not a bad thing, right? It's a lot of people are under a lot of stress, but I think being able to effectively deal with it through a product like NuCalm is really going to help me. So I'm very excited to be able to lower those stress levels, get a better night's sleep, and be a better me for the next day and the days moving forward. So I'm excited.
It's incredible. The more you dive into the science and the more you dive into kind of the evolutionary psychology of mankind, the more you become fascinated with the challenges that confront us. And one of the issues for me is just the lack of education. As a human, it'd be nice if we knew what it means to be human. And so I break it down into mathematics or simple equations to really understand this. But in reality, let's think about the government and allocation of spending, or let's think about a company and allocation of resources. Your body is the most complex closed ecosystem on the planet. The complexity cannot be overstated. We know very little about the brain. We know very little about the neuronal circuitry involved. But here's what we do know. The reptilian brain, fight or flight, fear, stress, anxiety, depression, and worry, is 40 million years evolved. 40 million years. You think that's sophisticated circuitry? Yes, it is. The prefrontal cortex, which is our frontal lobe here, is our executive functioning. It's our character, it's our personality, it's our patience, it's our responsiveness, it's our left brain logical thinking. That's 4 million years evolved. So do the simple math. As a human being, you're fighting a 36 million year head start of this fight or flight bizarre sabotage. And then we wonder why we judge ourselves for behaving badly when we're under a lot of stress. It's resource allocation. Your brain is always fighting for oxygen-rich red blood cells. But when we're triggered and we're put in this stressful fight or flight response, all resources are pulled from our prefrontal cortex. You're not yourself when you're stressed. That's the challenge of being human. NuCalm is not a miracle. It's not magic, and it's not the be-all end-all healer. NuCalm is a facilitator using biochemistry and physics to manage and slow down your brainwave function, to allow the body to do what it naturally wants to do. Your body wants to be in balance. It doesn't want to feed off cortisol and catecholamines and adrenaline, and your gut acid gets messed up and your intuition and your belly's, bizarre and your sleep patterns out. It doesn't want any of that. It wants to be in balance. But over the last couple of decades, in addition to just life in general, the food supply is no longer food. All of us have metabolic acidosis. There's too much acid in our stomach. Our microbiome's compromised. There's too much cortisol. There's blue light emanating from every screen. We're not turning it off. People have their phones on in their bedroom, TVs in their bedroom. We're literally moving away from this normal, natural humanity. NuCalm simply says, hey, not interested. We don't care how old you are. From in the womb to 100 years old, you can use it. We don't care where you live. We don't care your disease state. We're simply going to use biochemistry and physics and mathematics to slow your brainwave function down and allow you to heal in 20, 30, 40 minutes on demand during the day. And the more you use this, the more cumulative benefit occurs, the more we balance your autonomic nervous system. Over the course of time, Jared, you will find that you're less likely to be sabotaged by triggers. You're less reactionary to life, and you're more present in the moment without judgment. And in doing all of this, the mental clarity, the focus, the patience is amazing, but it's really the body being in balance that allows for greater resilience and immune health. So the more I age and the more I NuCalm, the stronger my resilience and my ability to resist stress and just operate in a way that's patient and present in the moment. It feels like a miracle, but it's not.
And it sounds like NuCalm can really be for anyone, but is there a specific either group of people or type of work, who uses it the most that you've seen?
That's an awesome question. All right, so I look at the landscape of life and I say there's 7.6 billion people. And it's funny because we're so quick to judge and we're so quick to compare ourselves to everybody else. And people think, well, Jared's 27 and he just moved and he lives in Florida and he must be going through a lot of stress. His stress is greater than mine. And I have cancer and my stress is greater than yours. It doesn't matter what the external stress response is. Guess what? The body's mechanism for dealing with stress is exactly the same for every human being on earth. So there's 7.6 billion people that are compromised by stress. Thus, we can help those people. But in loving data and being able to manage all of this stuff, here's what we've seen. The people that are going to use NuCalm the most, we're talking about 1, 2, 3 times a day, are the people dying of a chronic illness, where they're so overcome with stress and fear and uncertainty that cortisol, they're not sleeping. Their body's doing exactly what it doesn't need to do when they need to heal, and that is rest, restore, recover. So the disease state is using NuCalm a ton, mostly cancer. The professional athlete, we've been working with 49 professional sports teams and several hundred of the world's top athletes for years. When they find something that works to allow their body to heal, recover, reduce inflammation, and help their mind kind of focus on the present, They've been using this for 11 years. They'll use it once or twice a day. Some of the athletes use it 3 times a day. Pilots are amazing. They're doing amazing things. They're carrying 250 people on millions of pounds of steel in the air, but they think they can override the human circadian rhythm. They can't. So when you look in a cockpit, when you board a plane, you look at the 2 gentlemen or the 2 ladies, and they look like they're 65 years old. They're 42. Why? Because their sleep pattern dysregulation is not healthy. So pilots use it on a regular basis. And then we see a lot of high performers. For me personally, when I first took over the company 11 and a half years ago, I'm a type A guy. Taking a nap was a failure. Run, right? Sleep less, work more. And it took me 7 months to realize if I gave myself 30 minutes of NuCalm, it restored and repaid me in about 10 hours of very focused, clear-headed, optimistic work. So for me, it was a simple ROI. I'll give you 30 minutes, you give me 10 hours. So a lot of people have figured that out. And then recently, Jared, it's been the biohacking community. Some of our influential followers, Tony Robbins, Jim Quick, Ben Greenfield, Luke Story, they've come to the enterprise, they've heard about it, they've adopted it into their lifestyle, and they're like, hey, I got to tell the world about this. Well, they have influence. And if there's something works for them, people follow it. So our customer base has kind of shifted a little bit away from disease, away from the medical world, away from professional athlete, and a lot of biohackers as well.
Obviously there's a lot going on. You've continued to show a ton of progress. What are some of the things though that you're really excited about as we head into, I guess, the second half of 2021 and beyond?
Thank you for the amazing layup of a question. We are in such an incredible place and time. We're a small company. We're 20 years in business. It took us 20 years of research and development to get here. And Dr. Holloway was working on this before the company was formed. I got involved. First thing we did was establish a medical advisory board, went through the patent process, the clinical proof, did a couple million surgeries, and did all this work. Great. But over the last 5 years, we invested time, effort, and resources to move away from a highly regulated Class 3 medical device to an over-the-counter, easy-to-use, more affordable version of NuCalm. This is our first foray into mass adoption of this product that literally will manage your stress and improve your sleep without drugs, period. Not up for debate. We already know what it can do. It's just a matter of it's important to you. But what we've done, Jared, is we've built a platform that has 2 areas. One is the physics and mathematical electrical signaling, and the other is a biosignal processing disc. So the brain and the body communicate in only 2 ways, chemical messaging and electrical messaging. We've created a master plan for both. So when we combine these into a synergy, we can dictate or help you change your state on demand. So just a month ago, we released a sneak peek of what's called Ignite Warrior Brain. This drives your brainwave function up into 39 to 41 hertz, activates the motor cortex, creates adrenaline, and prepares you for high intensity, mistake-free focus, okay? It's a 13-minute track. You listen to it while you're working out, listen to it when you want to get pumped up, and it's amazing. We also have coming out later this year, a sleep track. This is an isochronic waveform. You don't need headphones. You listen to it in your bedroom, and it accelerates you into delta. So here's the reality. By next year, this time, you're going to wake up and you're going to say, hey, you know, I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. I ate too late or too much on my mind. 20 minutes of NuCalm is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. All right, I'm going to NuCalm. So I NuCalm for 30 minutes. I get up now at 7 o'clock. And I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like coffee because I don't feel like it accelerating my stomach. I'll listen to Ignite. We'll get your state up high. Then you go about your day. And you'll start to hit a little lull, and maybe need a little food. And you'll say, you know what? I want to listen to Focus now. Focus is 15 to 20 hertz. You put the headphones on, you listen to 15, 20 hertz. You're focused. Then the afternoon comes and you want to get on your Peloton, but your itty bitty shitty committee is telling you stink, you're lazy, and don't do it. And so you put Ignite on and you go and you crush the Peloton. You're having a great day. You're literally managing your state on demand with biochemistry and physics. And then at bedtime, you want to come down, you had an awesome day, you put your isochronic sleep file on, you're good to go. We have developed a clinically proven patented platform of neuroscience and been using this for 11 years, literally for you to change your state on demand without drugs with great predictability and reliability. That's what we've done. It sounds futuristic. It's here. We've been doing this for 19 years. We're changing the world, and it's amazing because it is so safe, and it's up to me. How do I want to feel right now? And then what options do I have? Focus, Sleep, Ignite, NuCalm. That's where we're headed.
I love it. I love it. And I'm going to throw some links in the show notes so people can check out more information about NuCalm. And I'm really excited to try out the product. So I'm going to be doing that soon. As I said, I'm going to do a video to show me kind of unboxing it and trying it and then my thoughts on it. But I'm really excited to use the product. I think it's really going to help me. So thanks for sending that over.
We're excited to have you. Welcome to the NuCalm family, and thanks to everybody for listening. We appreciate you. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you.